This is me with 100,000 pumpkins that I harvested in order to bring peace to this Minecraft server. No, that is not an exaggeration. It all started when I found this pumpkin patch. In any other server, this wouldn't even be worth a passing glance. However, the Border Bound SMP is special. There's a 500 by 500 border that expands only once a week, meaning it could be months before any other pumpkins show up. So I picked them up with the intent of making as much profit as possible. And with that, we began building our base. Little did we know what lied in store for us. So I just logged into the server, and guess what I see? This is our piece of land. But look who owns it. You see, there's a feature on this server that allows each faction to claim chunks of land. So this means that the pillaging pirates decided to claim an area right in front of our base. We can't place, break, or interact with any blocks in this area. Do you see how this is an issue? Now, I could just let this slide, but that's no fun, is it? If I waited, I knew an opportunity for revenge would present itself. And present itself it did. A pillager. Upon killing the leader, you will receive an effect that starts raids in any village you enter. Can you guess which faction lives in a village? I started a raid. That's hilarious. Okay, here's where I'm just gonna build a little platform here to watch. Look, they have a little battle with the pillagers.
Bro, why?
Well, what happened, guys? What happened?
Why'd you guys do that?
Why'd you claim the land right outside of our plot? Let me know how your little infestation ends up.
Where's the raider?
I was able to get revenge, but I also burned the bridge that led to any possible friendships with their team. I planted the metaphorical seed that would sprout into war. I knew that if I wanted to survive, I would need to make an alliance. But before I could take action, the pillaging pirates beat me to it. They allied with the Golden Crows, which is currently the biggest team on the server. Now let me explain to you why this is bad. For every member on your team, you can claim an additional 9 chunks, so more people equals more territory. So we tried to close the strength gap by acquiring better armor. I was able to get an enchantment table, but then another problem presented itself. In order to get a maxed out enchantment table, we needed bookshelves. In order to craft bookshelves, you need sugarcane. Only one problem with that. There is no sugarcane inside the border. The only alternative is to trade with villagers, but the only villagers in the server are owned by our enemies, the pillaging pirates. I tried glitching through the floor to see their villagers, but I couldn't see anything. So I just reloaded my chunks, which was effective enough. We located the villager, but couldn't glitch through the floor. We had no choice but to give up the book quest. Instead, we decided our best course of action was to ally a strong faction. But the problem is that we have beef with literally every single team, so we needed to prepare a gift. A gift so good they would forgive us. This is when those pumpkins come in handy. We set our sights on the Golden Crows. If we could steal the pillaging pirates' ally from right under them, we would have a massive advantage during the upcoming war. The plan was to farm an absurd amount of pumpkins, to the point that they simply could not refuse our offer. A measly few stacks wouldn't do. If I wanted to win this war, I needed to farm 100,000 pumpkins. Worst of all, I had to get all these pumpkins before the border expanded next week, so I began constructing the pumpkin farm immediately. The build wasn't efficient, heck it barely even worked, but it produced pumpkins and that's what mattered. So this is how many pumpkins I got from one cycle of the farm, and this is how many chests I need. Yeah, this is gonna take a while. As I farmed pumpkins, I realized how difficult my goal was. The chances of completion were going to be very slim, but I had no choice but to keep going forward blindly. Manual farming simply wasn't producing enough crops, and a basic automatic farm would require a venture to the nether, but I decided it was worth the investment. But while I was preparing for the build, I was given an anonymous tip, a tip that would put a complete halt on my plan. My own teammate, Bleak, had sold us out. Rumor has it that he gave pumpkins to Snappy from the pillaging pirates. I also noticed that Bleak just so happened to be in a voice call, so I joined up. Yo, Bleak, I'm not gonna jump to any conclusions or anything, but a little birdie informed me that you may have given a pumpkin to our arch nemesis.
Maybe, or maybe not.
Maybe we needed those pumpkins. The whole point was that we were the only ones with pumpkins on the server, Bleak, and you gave them away.
I know. But
okay, did you at least make bank from it? Like, what was the trade?
I got 32 bread.
We have food! You didn't have to give pumpkins to Snappy.
Yo, what's up?
Look, he's wearing a pumpkin on his head. Look what you did, Bleak. Can I see your farm?
And then you got the farm. Then we got a little bit of something on top.
Bro, Bleak, what did you do?
Well, how about this, Bleh? Whoever can produce the most pumpkins by the end of the week gets crowned the Pumpkin King.
You know what? You're on. I'm gonna have so many pumpkins. You know, I'm gonna be living in a pumpkin mansion. I'm gonna make a Starbucks just so I can sell pumpkin spice lattes. You're gonna regret the day you took those pumpkins, okay? The race was on. We were no longer the only group with pumpkins, so I had no choice but to put a halt on my original plan. I had a new goal: produce more pumpkins than Snappy. You see, we both agreed that whoever had the least amount of pumpkins in 4 days would have to forfeit their entire supply to the winner. This means that if I win the pumpkin race, I can once again be the only person on the server with pumpkins. Luckily for me, I had a head start, but the gap was closing fast. We agreed that we could both receive help with harvesting our pumpkins. However, Snappy has significantly more allies than me, therefore, more help. If I wanted any chance of winning, I needed to make an automatic farm. We have one problem though: I don't have any iron. In fact, our resources were almost completely out, so before I farmed anything, I needed to go mining. Due to the help of an anonymous source, we were able to get enough iron for the automatic farm, but I realized that we also needed to expand the manual farm if I wanted a chance to outgrow Snappy. So the manual farm expansion is done, and I also finished the automatic farm. But here's the problem: the automatic farm barely produces a stack per hour. I get 5 times that with one cycle of the manual farm. This means that all the time and resources spent on this machine were pointless, and while I was doing that, Snappy surpassed me in total pumpkins. Things were not looking good for me. The only way I could win this battle was through an insane amount of grinding, and that's exactly what I did. My daily schedule turned into this: wake up, shower, harvest pumpkins, sleep. A few hours into this rigorous routine, I received a terrifying piece of news. Galaxy told me that the pillaging pirates, the Golden Crows, and the Oaklandian Kingdom had all came together to form a liege, the Liege of Greatness. Their goal: destroy my team. Suddenly, I realized just how important these pumpkins had become. The entire fate of the team rested on my shoulders. The manual farm expansion made it a lot easier to grind pumpkins, but I still wasn't satisfied. I needed to expand. The bigger the farm, the more pumpkins I could harvest. It got to the point where the pumpkin farm was obstructing the view of our base, but that didn't matter to me. All I cared about was my production rate. I enlisted the help of my teammates to speed up the process. We began dedicating every last one of our resources to this project. Our team even went into debt in order to take out an iron loan, but it still wasn't enough. I did some reconnaissance and things weren't looking good. Snappy's pumpkin farm was massive, and he was spending an insane amount of time on the server, but even so, I kept going. I didn't know what to do, so I just kept expanding, but even that wasn't enough to close his insane lead. 3 days before the agreed upon deadline, I received some more shattering information. According to Snappy himself, he already had more than 4 double chests full of pumpkins. How many did I have? Barely over 1 double chest. Now there is a chance he could have been bluffing, but looking at his farm, this is definitely a reasonable amount. Luckily, I had one final hope, one last chance to win this pumpkin race. You see, Snappy is a very busy guy, and it's likely he won't be free for an entire day again soon. So if I use these last 2 days to catch up, I still have a chance of winning, but it would be close. And even so, I kept going. What does one do when faced with a difficult situation? Some might say meditate, others to go for a long walk. What do I do? Spend 3 hours adding 2 more layers to my pumpkin farm. It was the day before the deadline, but as I farmed pumpkins, I realized that something wasn't right. I knew for a fact that Snappy still had 4 more double chests worth of pumpkins, but how? We both played for about the same amount of time, so how is his lead so grand? I realized that my farm was not efficient enough. I created this as a casual farm, but it's expanded into a mess. I needed to optimize, and that's exactly what I did. Meet the pumpkin tunnel. It's a long cobblestone tube that leads to my storage system. Basically, this will save me loads of time because I no longer need to make the trip down to free up my inventory. With these new expansions, I could farm pumpkins quicker than ever, but still, Snappy was spending an inhuman amount of time on the server. He was a pumpkin farming machine, and I was the working class citizen whose job just got stolen. All I could do was expand and hope that by some miracle, I could raise enough pumpkins to claim my crown. Each hour blurred together, and before I knew it, the day had come. It is the final day and the final hour. Here's the final pumpkin farm, about the same as the last update, except a bit more messy. I'm gonna show the final harvest, and then Snappy, I believe, is on his way over here right now to see. In total, we have this, this, and this. Not great, I know. Welcome guys, welcome to the bean. Welcome to my pumpkin labyrinth.
It's decent, but it won't stand up to mine, that's for sure.
Okay, so here is my total output. 1, 2, 3.5 double chests. About 4, if you want to round up. You ready to go see yours?
Follow me. Alright, come over here.
Oh, this does not look very efficient, I'm gonna be honest with you. So, Snappy, I'll give you one thing. You have a lot of layers to your pumpkin farm. This is nothing compared to my farm, let's be real. My cobblestone tube. Are these your pumpkins?
Yeah, bro.
Get the pumpkin crown ready.
Start from the bottom and then go up.
Okay, 1. That's not looking good. 2.
2.
What? Wait.
3.
Wait, you only had 3? You were lying the entire time.
Yes, I was. Alright, here, take your crown. You earned it.
There it was in my hand, the accumulation of days of hard work, and yet, when I put it atop my head, I felt empty. This wasn't right. It was supposed to be a wonderful moment, a celebration of my dedication. That's when I realized it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth everything I sacrificed. Sleep, fun, friendships, all traded away in exchange for a crown. I had to make this right. And with that, it was over. I could finally rest. The pumpkin race was finished.